play my intro. Now it's time for the Robb Johnson Sports Show, presented by Robb Johnson Media and the Legacy Maker Sports Network. There you have it, ladies and gentlemen, the Buffalo Bills. The Buffalo Bills come all the way back from 15 points down in the fourth quarter to defeat the Baltimore Ravens in one of the most epic football games you can ever remember in the history of the National Football League. And we've had some great games, ladies and gentlemen. We've had some barn burners, but we have not seen a football game where a guy and Josh Allen, your reigning MVP, comes back and beats a team of the caliber of the Baltimore Ravens. Now, before we get into that game, let's just go back. We can do a quick recap of all the games, what happened throughout the week, etc. So let's start with what happened on Thursday night. The Dallas Cowboys lose to the Philadelphia Eagles by a score of 24-20. We go back into that game, okay? CeeDee Lamb dropped some passes. Dak Prescott looked better than Dak Prescott has looked in a very long time. The Philadelphia Eagles defense has some work to do. But that offense, 10 of 11 starters are back. The only starter I believe they were missing was Mekhi Becton, who went on, I believe, to the Chargers. This team, and we saw, and we'll get to the Chargers in a second. We'll see what the difference is in the Chargers and just how good they look. But this game, for me, if you're Dallas, you're encouraged. You're going into the game against the Giants this week. You'll beat the Giants. Then you got the Chicago Bears, and you got the Packers. So that's going to be a whole different animal altogether. But you should be 1-1 after this week if you handle your business. The Eagles, Jalen Hurts, the rushing touchdowns, the ability to do certain things, he really looked good for the Philadelphia Eagles. I was very proud of what he did in that game for his team, as I think that Jalen Hurts he has to be in your MVP discussion. If Jalen Hurts is not in your MVP discussion, then really, ladies and gentlemen, what are we really talking about at this point? Jalen Hurts must be in your MVP discussion. He has to be. And again, if not, then I really don't know what you're looking at when you look at Jalen Hurts, and when you look at everything that he's doing with that football team. Saquon Barkley has 60 yards on the ground. I think that Barkley is the type of player where he will definitely be able to see more carries. He'll be able to get more yards, etc. So I think that with Barkley, you'll definitely see him get more yards. You'll definitely see him do more things over time. I'm a big fan of Saquon Barkley, his run here in Philadelphia. So I think that run for him will continue to get better as time goes on. Now, when we talk about the Eagles' defense, I think they did some good things. Again, CeeDee Lamb dropping the ball did not help, not one bit. I can say that again. His drops did not help. The Miles Sanders long run where he next fumbled the ball, that did not help either. But again, I think that, let me see here. I'm trying to get these. I tell you, man, I'm trying to turn on these notifications for these posts. Facebook is kind of making it a little hard here. But anyway, so thing is, folks, when we talk about this game, big win for the Philadelphia Eagles, actually huge win for the Philadelphia Eagles as they go into Kansas City next week. Now, Kansas City against the Los Angeles Chargers. What do I think about this game? And what did I really get from Justin Herbert? I got a more confident Justin Herbert. See, that's what I want to see from Justin Herbert. I want to see a guy out there who's confident. A guy who passes 35 for 34, 318 yards, 3 touchdowns, no interceptions. Quinn Johnson out of TCU. His hands have been the subject of a lot of debates of Quinn Johnson. Quinn Johnson, 5 catches, 79 yards, 2 touchdowns, 15.8 yards per catch, 7 targets, 5 catches. McConkey, 6 catches, 74 yards. Keelan Allen, 7 catches, 68 yards. Conkin, 2 catches, 50 yards. And the running game with Hampton, 15 carries, 40 yards. That'll get better for the Chargers. I'm not worried about it. That will get better for the Chargers. But that is what you need if you are the Los Angeles Chargers. You need that to have that confidence going into the season. So let's get into the next set of games. Let's talk about Tampa Bay and the Falcons. I think these two teams right now, ladies and gentlemen, are really primed. I'm not going to say that Atlanta is a Super Bowl contender. I'm not going to say Tampa's a Super Bowl contender. But what I will say is I think that both teams are going to play a better style of team football this upcoming year. Michael Penix, the Falcons have found their quarterback. They picked him in the top 10 for a reason. They've got their quarterback. If they need to trade Kirk Cousins for any reason whatsoever, they can trade him, and there are plenty of teams in the league that could use a quarterback if they need one. Especially with injury, especially with things going bad. You definitely need that backup quarterback. Kirk Cousins could be that for that team. Atlanta Falcons missed a late field goal, did not tie the game. That could put this game in overtime. Could have been another one of those epic games. Browns against the Bengals. What people have to understand about this rivalry is that the games early are always going to be close. The next time they play in Cincinnati, it could be a 20 to 30-point blowout. But that Cleveland Browns defense is legit. They're good. And even though Joe Burrow didn't have the biggest of the day, you know what the most important thing for the Bengals was? They got the win. I'm going to skip that Dolphins game for a reason. I think you guys know why. I'm going to skip that Dolphins game. And I got some things to say about that. Raiders Patriots. Geno Smith, what can you say? 362 yards. He really put on a great performance in New England where he had 1 touchdown, 1 interception. Ashton Jeanty, 19 carries, 38 yards, 1 touchdown. Even though he didn't get the yards that you would want him to have, he got that touchdown. He played physical football. The Brock Bowers went out with a little bit of a leg injury. We hope that he can come back. But 5 catches, 103, continues to be, in my opinion, be one of the better tight ends in the National Football League. Jacoby Myers, 8 catches, 97 yards. Played really good football yesterday. Tucker, 2 catches, 54 yards. Thornton, 2 for 45. This was a Pete Carroll type of game. Pete Carroll brought his impact to that game. Really impressed by the Las Vegas Raiders. And if you are the New England Patriots, I'm going to say it simply, and I'm going to say it very clearly. There is no reason why Travion Henderson should only have 5 carries in a football game. There is no reason that man should only have 5 carries in a football game. You've got to get him involved. As I'm looking at the numbers now, let me see what they have him in the receiving department. 6 catches, 24 yards, and I get it. Total 11 touches of the football. But he has to get more carries on the ground. That man is dynamic. He has the ability to do some great things. Do not limit him. You do not want to limit that guy. That guy is too good to be limited. Stephon Diggs, decent game. 6 catches on 7 targets, 57 yards. I'd like to see him get even more targets than that. You have Keyshawn Bode out of LSU. If I'm pronouncing the name wrong, please let me know. He had over 100 yards, 6 receptions on 103 yards. His long was 24. So the Patriots have the weapons, ladies and gentlemen. Let's not question if the Patriots have the weapons. The Patriots have the weapons. The Patriots just have to freaking execute, and that's just the bottom line when it comes to that. Arizona Cardinals, the Saints, I have to give them credit. Their defense played their hearts out yesterday. Spencer Rattler, 27-46, 214, no turnovers, no touchdowns either. Alvin Kamara only had 45 yards on 11 carries. If you look at it, you know, you could say that especially against a guy like Chris Olave, the Cardinals did a decent job. 7 catches, 54 yards. Rashid, six catches, 33 yards. Brandon Cooks, 3 catches, 26 yards. They did a decent job on them yesterday. And if you look at the Arizona Cardinals, Kyler Murray only had 163 yards passing. However, no turnovers, 2 touchdowns. Trey Benson, 8 carries, 69 yards. I really like that combination of Trey Benson and Connor and James Conner in Arizona. And then Marvin Harrison Jr., 5 catches, 71 yards, 1 touchdown. Trey McBride, the best tight end in football. I've declared it, 6 catches, 61 yards. They got to continue to spread the football around. You even have a guy in Michael Wilson out of Stanford who I think is going to be really good. Make sure you get him the football, more targets, etc. He had 4 targets yesterday for 1 catch, 5 yards. Get him more targets. I really like this Arizona team. I think I like what they're doing all around. Let's see here. Jets and Steelers. See, Aaron Rodgers had 4 touchdown passes yesterday, but as Damian Woody said this morning, I believe it was on First Take, the Jets really dominated this football game, folks. They dominated this football game from a running department, everything. And what you have to worry about if you're Pittsburgh is if the Jets can run on you like that, just what the hell can Baltimore do? Even though Baltimore lost last night, we saw how just deep and how powerful that running game is in Baltimore. It's just overwhelming. That running game is overwhelming. Giants, Commanders. Bottom line, the Commanders just played dominating football. And the Giants' offensive line was not able to protect Russell Wilson. It could have easily turned into 14 points. Those 6 points could have turned to 14 points if they would just been able to protect their quarterback, get a running game going, etc. But no, same thing with the Giants. Nothing's changed. Same thing. Jaguars and Panthers. This game had a little bit of a weather delay, but Bryce Young, a little bit of a disappointing performance, even though that Jaguars defense is better. I have to give them that. 18 to 35, 154, 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions. Chuba Hubbard only had 57 yards on 16 carries. You got to remember, they did trade away Thielen, which honestly, folks, it just didn't make a lot of sense to me to trade away. And I know you got McMillan now, who's your first round pick, but I think it would have been good to at least have Thielen there to help him out a little bit. It would have been better, but hey, what do I know? What do I know? Titans and Broncos. The Broncos win this game by a score of 20-12. Really closer of a game than I thought it was going to be. I thought that those 2 teams played a really good game. Cam Ward needs his receivers to not drop the football. He was sacked 6 times by that great Broncos defense. Now, let's get to the later games because I'm still going to get back to Miami. 49ers win that game, survive in Seattle 17-13. The Packers, really good performance. Everybody's talking about Michael Parsons, but it's the other players who really did their thing in that game. When you talk about Jared Goff, who was sacked 4 times, once by Micah, and then the Packers had, let's see who had those other sacks for the Packers. We had Rashawn Gary, 1.5. We had Van Ness with a half a sack. And then we had Wyatt with another sack, and then Michael Parsons had the last sack. Jared Goff was picked off once. Jordan Love should have been picked off, but luckily for him, he was able to get some things going. This Packers team, they still have Christian Watson coming back, I believe. He was injured last year. They still have him coming back. You had Josh Jacobs had a big game on the ground, 19 carries, 66 yards, 1 touchdown. Romeo Doubs, Jaden Reed, Wicks, Kraft, Golden. I mean, this team, you still got Musgrave back there, who's still a contributor. He's only 25 years old out of Oregon State. They got so many weapons on this football team. It's ridiculous. The Detroit Lions need to find themselves. They need to find themselves quick, because if they don't, this season could turn on them very quickly. We have to remember, folks, the Lions not so long ago weren't in NFC Championship games. They weren't fighting for wild card spots. They weren't fighting for playoff spots. They were below in the dwellers. They were in the doldrums. They just weren't getting it done because they were a bad franchise. And then when you lose your 2 coordinators, I can honestly say, folks, them losing their coordinators, you saw it on the field. Now, is it that they lost their coordinators or the Packers just that damn good? I think it's a combination, folks, of a 50-50. I think the Packers are just that damn good, and I think that the Lions losing their coordinators really has affected them in this offseason. We know that Jared Goff is a really good quarterback. He is. Nobody is doubting that about Jared Goff. But we know that Jared Goff has to have a system. We know Jared Goff has to play in control. We know that Jared Goff, after a while, just like in LA, he can sometimes wear out his welcome. Not saying that he's wearing his welcome out, but sometimes Jared Goff needs that change of scenery. And I'm hoping that it's not the case here in Detroit. But who knows? Could Jared Goff be on the decline in Detroit? It's only one game. You don't want to overreact when you say that. But when you look at what happened in Los Angeles, he went to the Super Bowl, struggled. They had to end up trading him. And now you're looking at the stuff that's going on in Detroit. He lost Ben Johnson. Ben Johnson was a very important part of that team. Yes, you got the head coach biting kneecaps, etc., and he's a great motivator. But sometimes you have those coaches, folks, that need to have those great assistants to continue to thrive. And in Detroit, without those assistants, you really have to start to question and wonder what's going to happen with this football team. So, but the Packers look great. Nobody's going to ever deny that. Texans against Rams. When you talk about this game, you talk about the two defenses. You talk about how Matthew Stafford had his back was just messed up in the offseason. And for him to come back and do what he did yesterday, ladies and gentlemen, let's just be honest, let's be frank about it. It was an MVP performance by Matt Stafford. 245 yards, 1 touchdown. He was sacked 3 times, however. That is a tough defense he's playing against. That is one hell of a defense that he is playing against. And that Rams defense is no slouch themselves. Will Anderson Jr., 4 tackles, 1 sack. Will Anderson, I predicted in the offseason, will be my defensive player of the year. I think he's going to have a great year. But that Rams team, the way they're structured, everything about them, to have Matthew Stafford come back, when you have Puka Nacua, 10 catches for 130 yards against that defense. And here's the crazy part. Devontae Adams had a pedestrian game, folks. 4 catches, 51 yards. And you still have so many other parts to that football team. I mean, think about this. Tutu Atwell, with all that speed, had one catch for 4 yards. This is Tutu Atwell we're talking about. He's still a relatively young player at the age of 25. He's got all that speed. But, folks, I'm not kidding you. This game could be a Super Bowl preview. This is how good both these defenses are. Don't think just because it was a low-scoring game that these teams aren't good. No, folks. No. These defenses are elite. The Rams defense is elite. The Texans defenses are elite. And those offenses are going to put numbers up on other folks. They're going to put numbers up on other folks. So just keep that in mind. Let's go to Bills-Ravens. Yeah, that's all I'm gonna say. Let me go ahead and take this down. Let me go ahead and take the screen down. What we saw last night was an instant classic. What we saw last night was a game that you just had to sit back and appreciate everything that we saw. The Baltimore Ravens absolutely, and specifically Derrick Henry, ran over that Buffalo Bills team. Now, Buffalo won the game, but there has to be concern. You've got to be concerned going forward because you're going to face teams, not like Baltimore, but teams that have speed, teams that have running backs that can go. And that defense stepped up when it needed to. But I'll also say this, Baltimore got in their own way last night. Last night, when you complete that pass, it's less than 2 minutes on the clock. You're going to give the ball back to Buffalo. When they punted the ball back to Buffalo, I said, it's over. I knew it was over. And then when you have Jair Alexander, when I'm trying to remember, I believe it was, actually we do have the footage. I'm trying to remember who it was, and we have the footage right here. Let's go back to this footage.
Allen unloading, throwing, that's Palmer! Out of bounds at the 30-footer. And Allen throws, it's caught on the run, Coleman! Keon Coleman tripped up!
That's what I wanted to go back to. Jair Alexander, with that amount of time, what was it, 30, 39, 40 seconds, you let Coleman score. Because, see, Coleman is a very intelligent player, right? He really is. But he's still a young player. And in that moment, he's thinking, I want to score. I want to be the hero. A veteran's going to be like, I'm getting down because I don't care about scoring. I've scored before. I want to win the game. Coleman probably would have gone into the end zone there, And then you still have all of your timeouts left, basically, and you have Lamar Jackson against that defense. And you could have put it in his hands. But going back to that fourth down play, third down play, where Baltimore completed the pass to DeAndre Hopkins, and Lamar was talking to him before the play. He got the ball to DeAndre Hopkins. They should have gone for it. At that point, they should have gone for it, because with that little bit amount of time left anyway, that means you would have shrunk the field for the Buffalo Bills. You could have stopped them, got the ball back. See what I'm saying? But sometimes when you give a team that much field with timeouts and ability to do certain things, they're going to drain the clock. I'd rather for Buffalo have been at the Ravens 30 than all the way down there, because as soon as they punted the ball, folks, like I said, I knew they were going to win this game. I knew they were going to win the game. I had no doubt in my mind. And I think Lamar knew once they punted, they were going to win that Buffalo was going to win that game, because it was just a foregone conclusion. Because the way things were going, 15-point lead in the fourth quarter, Ed Oliver punched the ball out of the hands of Derrick Henry. That's another time I knew. I said, this game is going to turn on its head, because you never see that from Derrick Henry. Derrick Henry never fumbles. But for him to fumble like that, man, that was absolutely crazy. But one thing I'll tell you guys, that one thing I know that will never fumble is the ability for Larry Patterson to be one of the best out there as far as when it comes to sports content. He will never fumble that. Congratulations, my man, as well, for getting married. But, hey, just remember, Game Time 365 Sports. 365 all year long, baby. Let's go.
Check out Game Time 365 Sports on the Game Time Sports Network. Larry Patterson bringing the heat to you every single time.
Play that again.
Check out Game Time 365 Sports on the Game Time Sports Network. Larry Patterson bringing the heat to you every single time.
So, you know who didn't bring the heat yesterday, ladies and gentlemen? You know who did not bring the heat yesterday, and I have it all black in the background for a reason. Let's talk about the Miami Dolphins. And one of the most embarrassing stinkers, and look, I'm not going to not give the Miami Dolphins, the Indianapolis Colts, credit. They got a good defense. They got a really good defense. But the Miami Dolphins basically said yesterday, we're not showing up. We don't care. Zach Wilson made an appearance yesterday. Let me ask you guys something. Devon Achane, he had 7 carries yesterday for 55 yards, averaging 7.9 yards a carry. His long was 26. You mean to tell me a guy is running the ball at that pace, 7.9 yards per carry, you give him 7 carries? You mean to tell me that you're not going to give him more carries? You're not going to put the ball in his hand more? You're not going to put the ball in his hand 20 to 25 times, especially early in the game? You know that he can run on that defense. Tyreek Hill had 6 targets, 4 catches for 40 yards. Jalen Waddle, 4 catches, 30 yards. Malik Washington, out of the University of Virginia, 2 catches, 20 yards. I'm baffled, because I'm just baffled. Like what were they doing yesterday? And then Daniel Jones, 22 of 29, 272, a touchdown. Folks, it's time for the head coach to get fired. It's time for Tyreek Hill to be traded. It's time to blow it up in Miami. It's time to blow up the whole operation. It's over. It's over. It's over. You're the Miami Dolphins. It's over. Now, Miami Dolphins. Let's go to the game again here. Open up their schedule, because it needs to be opened up. Miami Dolphins got the Patriots at home next week. You go to Buffalo. Then you got the Jets. In October, you go to Carolina, the Chargers. You go to the Browns, at the Falcons, Ravens, Bills, Commanders, Saints, Jets, Steelers, Bengals, Tampa Bay. You end the season at the Patriots. Does anybody see 5 wins on that schedule? Unless they can turn it around, unless the Colts are a revelation that just peeked into our lives, do you see 5 games? Because I don't see 5 games. And again, if the Indianapolis Colts end up being good, winning 11, 12 games, and Daniel Jones turns his career around, perfecto, great. But we don't see that. We don't. It's just hard to talk about the Miami Dolphins right now and to be confident that they will be doing anything the rest of the season. Again, there needs to be trades. Things need to happen. There needs to be an investigation into McDaniel about what in the world is he really doing at this point. Because I can't tell you what he's doing. I can't tell you what he's doing. All right, we're gonna stop talking about the Miami Dolphins right now because it's depressing me. All right, let's go back to some of the games. I think I actually forgot one of the games. Steelers and Jets. I did forget that game. Sorry about that. Aaron Rodgers 4 touchdown passes. Justin Fields had a decent game. I may have forgot to talk about this game. I don't know. The Dolphins got me so angry right now. I forgot what I said at the beginning of the show. Yeah, but the Jets and Steelers had an epic game. That game was the game of the day until Baltimore and Buffalo last night. So now let's go to college football, folks. Let's go to college football. We're not going to talk about all the games. What we're going to do is we're going to highlight some of the things that happened during the college football week. Some of the games. Let's go here. Let's see. I think did they have a game Thursday? I don't think they had a game Thursday. Let's go to Friday. So on Friday, JMU went to Louisville. They lost that game 28-14. Great effort by JMU. But hey, it happens sometimes. Boise State recovered from their loss to South Florida, a good South Florida team, by the way, 51-14 against Eastern Washington. Let's go to Saturday. Virginia State lost by 3 to Norfolk State. Norfolk State survives the Trojans of Virginia State. Michael Vick is his first win as a head coach. Richmond, after a weather delay, beats Wofford. Wofford now 0-2 on the season. I remember Wofford from last year. Their quarterback, they had a really, really good quarterback. I think he may have transferred. I need to actually look into that and see if he transferred because they had a different quarterback in this game, and Ethan Drum. But yeah, we definitely need to. I need to go and check in that and see if their quarterback from last year transferred. He was out of California. He looked really good. William & Mary, the game that I was covering against Maine. Whew, I tell you, man, the weather delays in this game were absolutely crazy. William & Mary, I don't think they finished that game until maybe 10:30, 11 o'clock at night. William & Mary came back for the win. I think they were down, I believe it was 17-7. Let me go back and look at the numbers. Yes, they were down 17-7 going into the second half. They scored 14 in the third, 7 in the fourth, outscoring Maine 20. The Black Bears 21-10 in the second half, winning that game 28-17. Great effort by William & Mary. 8,000 attended the game. It was a great atmosphere. Look forward to seeing the Tribe once again and getting to Richmond as soon as I can. Miami Hurricanes defeated Bethune-Cookman 45-3. They got to get ready for South Florida, so I see nothing wrong with trying to get in and get out. Texas Tech beat Kent State 62-14. Penn State 34-0 over Florida International. The Florida State Seminoles absolutely destroyed East Texas A&M 77-3. Baylor and SMU involved in an absolute classic 48-45. Baylor defeats number 17 SMU at the time. Indiana defeated Kennesaw State 56-9. Illinois goes into Duke, destroys the Blue Devils 45-19. The Blue Devils are now 1-1 on the season. Iowa State survives, and I say survive, I absolutely mean the word survive. They survive Iowa 16-13. Liberty goes down to Jacksonville State. Minnesota 66-0 over Northwestern State. Texas rebounds itself. Arch Manning 4 touchdown passes. It's 30-7 over the San Jose State team there. Spartans out there in San Jose State. Virginia loses a absolute thriller to North Carolina State 35-31. Texas A&M defeats Utah State 44-22. Let's go through. Austin Peay hangs tough with Georgia, but loses 28-6. Let's go down some more of these scores. Georgia Tech absolutely destroys Gardner-Webb 59-12. Ole Miss beats Kentucky, number 20. Ole Miss beats Kentucky 30-23. How the mighty have fallen. Good Lord. Oregon defeats Oklahoma State 69-3. Maybe time for Coach to get out there in Oklahoma State and bring in some new blood. Clemson, just talk about surviving. They survived Troy, who Troy always plays tough football. 27-16. Tennessee beats East Tennessee State 72-17. Colorado beats Delaware 31-7. Ohio State destroys Grambling 70-7. Let's go through and see. We have any more. Florida gets upset by South Florida 18-16. Utah defeats Cal Poly 63-9. ODU defeats North Carolina Central 54-6. Let's see here. Let's go through some more of these. Kansas State. This is something that really didn't get talked about. Kansas State got upset by Army. Damn. Thought Kansas State was going to have a better year than what they're having. Vanderbilt destroys Virginia Tech 44-20. Michigan State beats Boston College by 2, 42-40 in a thriller. Let's see here. Let's go through some more of these. Oklahoma beat Michigan 24-13. LSU survives Louisiana Tech 23-7. Arizona State goes down to Mississippi State 24-20. Alabama 73-0 over Louisiana Monroe. Good coming back from that loss to Florida State. South Carolina beat South Carolina State 30-10. Let's see here. And that's pretty much it. Let's go actually into the new week and let's talk about some more college football as I'm going to give you some predictions and some possible upset alerts that we have coming forth. Now, let's see what day this is. September the 11th. Today is the 8th. So that is Tuesday, Thursday. So on Thursday, on September 11th, we have North Carolina State against Wake Forest. Now, here's the thing about this game, folks. This game is huge. This game is actually really big for both teams. The Demon Deacons in their first two games beat Kennesaw State 10-9, which is not good. They beat Western Carolina 42-10. This should be a win for NC State. NC State, who beat East Carolina week 1, they beat Virginia week 2. This should be I'm going to say easy win, but you should not struggle against this Wake Forest team. I think that North Carolina State should win this football game. And honestly, folks, it should not be close, not one bit. Going to Friday, we got Indiana State against Indiana. Indiana wins that game easily. Colgate against Syracuse. Colorado against Houston. It should be a competitive game. Houston 2-0, Colorado 1-1. I've got Colorado. Arizona against Kansas State. Kansas State reeling right now. Arizona's 2-0. I got Arizona by a mile. Now, the Lobos 1-1 of New Mexico against UCLA. UCLA has to have this game. There's no ifs, there's no ands about it. They've got to have this game. End of story. William & Mary on Saturday at noon against Virginia. I'm going to have to give it to Virginia. Unfortunately, I want William & Mary to get this game, but I think Virginia will win this, especially with their offense the way it's humming. Norfolk State against Rutgers. Definitely Rutgers in this game. Richmond against Carolina. Richmond will play Carolina tough early, but Carolina will pull away. Miami, South Florida. Got to give it to South Florida. Got to give it to Miami. But in South Florida's case, they are coming in this. They are very confident. They know what they're doing. They're not scared. So Miami, yes, I have to do this to you.
You have been warned. There is nowhere to run.
Yeah, there's nowhere to run. Miami, you got to get it done. You got to get it done Saturday. Like, you cannot take this team lightly. You have to come in. You have to play hard. Let's go to some other games. Oregon, Northwestern, they'll handle Northwestern. Even though it's a noon game, they'll beat Northwestern. Central Michigan against Michigan. No competition here. Michigan wins that game. Wisconsin against Alabama. Oh, let me go through Wisconsin. Let me see who they've played. even though they haven't played much competition, you still have to give this to Wisconsin and Alabama.
You have been warned. There is nowhere to run.
South Alabama Jaguars against Auburn. No competition there. I'll give that to Auburn. I think Auburn wins this game. I'm sorry, not Texas. Georgia, number 6 against number 15, Tennessee. Again, upset.
You have been warned. There is nowhere to run.
Arizona State has not looked impressive. Iowa State has not looked impressive, but they're going against Arkansas State. I'm not a believer. There's no upset special there. Going through the rest of these games, let's see if there's another upset special. Oh, even though this is not considered an upset because of the team's records and who the teams are, etc., and especially with how this team is playing, Virginia Tech against ODU, it's got to be an upset.
You have been warned. There is nowhere to run.
Texas A&M against Notre Dame. I think Notre Dame takes care of Texas A&M at home. No upset special there. South Carolina against Vanderbilt. Another upset special.
You have been warned. There is nowhere to run.
Definitely. How could you not say it's not an upset special? That is definitely an upset special when you look at Vanderbilt against South Carolina. Wyoming invites Utah to their place. Wyoming on the season, they beat decent competition, but you got to give this to Utah. Utah is going to win this football game. So that's my predictions. I'll give you guys my predictions later on in the week for the NFL Week 2. Now, let's talk some MLB and let's talk some WNBA real quick, and then we're going to get up out of here. I'm not going to do too much today. Let's go to the standings. That's the biggest thing at this time of the year, with basically a couple of weeks left, or a week or so left in the season. We got, I think, 2 weeks left in the season. The Blue Jays are up on the Yankees by 2 games. The Tigers are up 8.5 on their division. They're going to win that thing. The Houston Astros are up 2.5 on the Seattle Mariners. So we look at the rest of their schedule. And you know what's interesting about this entire thing? The Astros go to Toronto for the next 3 games. Then they go to an upset-minded Atlanta Braves team, who they probably will beat because the Braves just got destroyed by the Mariners. So I think they're ready for the season. And then they got to play a tough Texas team, who Texas always plays tough. Then from September the 19th to the 21st, they got a 3-game stretch. 3 games. They got a 3-game stretch against the Tennessee. They got a tough game stretch. Be back right. I'll be. Let's see. Yeah, I thought I had to stop for a second, guys. I thought I had something here, but give me 1 minute. Give me 1 minute here. I got to take a phone call here in 1 second. Just give me 1 minute here. The Mariners, they play the Mariners today. They play the Mariners on the 19th through the 21st. Then they have the Athletics. Then they have to play at the Angels at the end of the season. So, in my opinion, when it comes to this game, I think that the Astros are winning division, but it's going to be very tough. The Phillies are up 7 games on the Mets. They're going to win the division. The Central, you got the Brewers up 7.5. They'll win the division. And then the Dodgers 1 game up on the San Diego Padres. Let's see here. They got a tough stretch here. They got the Phillies. They got the Rockies next 3 games, so they should win those. But then you got to go to a rival in the Giants. You got to play the Phillies. You got to play the Giants again. You got to go to Arizona. Then you end the season at the Mariners. Tough stretch for the Dodgers. If they win this division, they will definitely earn and win. They will definitely earn themselves an opportunity to go back to another World Series if they can do that. Now, wild card, we have the Cubs, the Padres, and the Mets. Reds are 4 games out. The Giants are 4 games out. Can they come back? I doubt it, folks. I think we're set there. Yankees, Red Sox, Mariners. The Rangers are a game and a half back. The Royals are 2 back. The Guardians are 2.5 back. The Mariners have to just keep winning, folks. We want to see the Mariners in the playoffs, but the Rangers are right there, and the Rangers are a dangerous baseball team. So just saying. All right, going to WNBA real quick. We'll talk about the WNBA at this point. Let's see here. Right now, the Dream have the best record in the East, 28-44. The Lynx have the best record in the West, overall 33-9. The Las Vegas Aces have won 14 games in a row. Asia Wilson, in my opinion, is your MVP. And it's time to get this lady out of Chicago. I'm going to say it. I'm going to keep saying it until I'm blue in the face. Get Angel Reese out of Chicago. They don't appreciate her, etc., etc. I don't know what else to say. So now let's go to our Shut the Hell Up segment. If I can find my thing. Here we go.
I need you to shut the hell up for the immediate future.
Well, if I have to tell anybody to shut the hell up, it has to be, I don't know. My shut the hell up is hard today. My shut the hell up is really hard today. For anybody saying that Lamar Jackson facing discipline for that push last night, the fan is lucky he didn't get punched in the face. That's all I'm saying. All right, tell me where I feel. Folks, right now, we got all the sports in the world. The sports out here is doing its thing. I intentionally did not talk about Bears and Vikings till now. We got a great football game coming up tonight, folks. Make sure you tune in. Make sure you come and watch that football game. It is going to be terrific. Bears, Vikings, NFC North. It is going to be on and popping. Let's go. I will see you guys probably tomorrow for Rob Johnson Sports Show 102 as we talk about what? We talk about week 2 in the NFL, predictions and all that. See you guys tomorrow.
It's caught in the crossfire.